Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Last Chance Qualifier here at Worlds 2019 in Minnesota. My name for the Gold Squadron podcast is Asa Graff.
And I'm Darren Granger.
Thank you for joining me today, Darren. This is round 3. On the right side of your screen, we've got the one, the only Dallas Parker out of California, now here in the Last Chance Qualifier. Never would have thought that Dallas Parker would need the last chance at Worlds.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him? In any case, he is running the first Imperials that we've seen on the stream all day, facing off against the first Rebels that we have seen. It's not the first beef list, though. We've got 2 B-Wings, 2 X-Wings, and a Gray Squadron bomber.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Pilot Skill 2, Initiative 2. I can never remember which way around that is now.
Yep.
Second edition. They're moving at 2.
Yes.
And it's a chunky lot. It's a lot of red dice. It's not very many green dice. A lot of hull, a lot of shields.
Yep. We have those 2 Blue Squadron pilots are both equipped with jamming beam. The escorts in the X-Wing, nothing except for their obligatory S-foils and then an ion cannon turret on the Gray Squadron bomber. Nothing fancy, just a lot of hull, a lot of shields, and a lot of bodies on the board. Now facing that off is an Alpha Strike list from Dallas. You mind talking me through that just a little bit?
So it looks like we've got Colonel Jendon, who is, as we know, a massive force multiplier, allowing those ships to get the target locks before they go in. Then we've got, I'm going to jump down the list a little bit, we've then got the 2 generic Inquisitors with fire control system, concussion missiles. Now those Inquisitors are great because they can go into an engagement with a target lock to give them passive mods on their attack.
Yep.
They can take an evade action, and then they've also got the force. Backed up by 3 green dice. They are going to be very, very difficult for Frank to push some damage through. Although he does have 4 ships with 3 red dice.
Yep.
So weight of fire could win out there. But so the concussion missiles as well come in great because it gives them a 3 dice attack range.
Dice, right. You know, I'm wondering, until recently, I haven't really seen the Inquisitors come up. I'm seeing them actually a lot in Imperial lists around the room today. Do you think it's just been recently that those have come up because of other nerfs to some other Imperial ships looking for an ordnance carrier?
I think they've come down in points enough that having the missile slot and the sensor slot and the force, there's things that they can do. Like they've got the focus of 8. They've got the reposition, so they can barrel roll or boost and take a focus action. Great. So it gives them so many options, and then having a hard one, which is blue, means that they can just get in there and knife fight.
Single one of Dallas Parker ships is higher initiative than Frank's. There's a very good chance that we can see, with the amount of weight of fire on Dallas's side, see one of those B-Wings or X-Wings just gone.
Yeah. And I think one of the key pieces there is going to be Redline.
Right.
So what we can see from Redline is that his ability is when he takes an action, he can also acquire a target lock. Now, the interaction there is great with passive sensors because what it means he can do is he can move in, use passive sensors, because that's an action, acquire a lock, and then when it comes to his turn to engage in the engagement phase, he can then take the calculate from the passive sensors.
Right.
And because it's a calculate action, take another lock. So he will then have 2 locks and a calculate.
Right.
And I don't think he could have wished for a better matchup for something to face with those plasma torpedoes.
Absolutely.
Not ordnance we see very often.
Excuse me, sorry, those should be protons.
Okay, proton torpedoes.
That was my mistake putting those in. That should be protons. Let's get those fixed there.
I did think it was an odd choice, and I did think it was going to be.
It would have been well. Let's say
like,
that's a good. That would have been a good matchup.
The perfect thing you want to see with plasma torpedoes is B-wings.
Right.
However, not in this match. They are.
How's it going, everybody? Just want to remind you guys that we here at Gold Squadron, we're not streaming just one table. Actually, right now we have. Whoa! What the heck happened to this view? Let me go ahead and fix that. We actually have more than one. We have 2 tables going, and we have a possible third. Right now we're working on solving all the issues while running only 2 tables before we actually add that 3rd table. There we go. If there is a lull in the action in our current main table, we'll actually be flipping forward. So this is experience is something that we're only doing here at Worlds. We have 3 tables worth of kit here working. We have different commentators for each one, and we'll be back. I'll jump in once in a while, talk to you guys, talk about the game a little bit. One of the things that's not working, unfortunately, is my communication line to each of the tables so that you guys can hear me through the stream and that there's no echoes and no delays. That part isn't quite working, so that's all right. But want to thank you guys for joining us. Remind you guys to hit that Twitch Prime button, and thank you to everybody who has done it. We're going to go back to Table 1.
That's definitely something we want to see both of these players doing.
Yeah.
Dallas has got to get all of those missiles off on the same target to chew through this Rebel Beef.
Yeah.
And in order to put the damage through on the squirrely Inquisitors, Frank's got to do much the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's going to be an interesting game. It could go either way,
right,
as all games can. It's not rock paper scissors. There's no hard counter to each other in this. This will come down to how the pilots engage.
Yep.
And what we see on the board.
Right. Now we do have a couple of questions up in chat right here. Somebody, I cannot remember exactly who asked it, but they're asking about the cuts right now. Both of these players are 2-0. I think we had just over 220 players in.
So I think it's around 250 players.
Okay.
So the top 128 will get through to tomorrow. So that means you've got to go 3-3 with good MOV.
Right.
So players that go 3-3 will make the cut for tomorrow, but a few of those players will not.
Right.
So that's why any of the European and UK players that play in the last chance qualifier that I've been speaking to today, been saying just make sure you go 4-2,
right,
or go 3-3 with
good
MOV.
That is the guarantee. All right, we got some maneuvers down here. S-foils closed on those X-wings. Top one, that is X-wing white, will move 4 straight forward, take the focus. X-wing black on the bottom of the board right there. 4 straight boost.
Yep, Frank coming out a lot quicker than I thought we were going to see.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think that's a bad thing, though. Letting the Inquisitors and Redline get that perfect missile engagement off is not necessarily what he wants to do. So he's coming out as fast as he can.
Go ahead and choose your champion, guys. The Choose Your Champion poll is up. 1 for the player on the left, that's Frank, and 2 for Dallas on the right.
They're slightly slower.
Right. Now, one of my favorite things to do when I fly 5-ship Rebel lists way back in first edition and even into second is to kind of split into a couple little groups and approach from the same area but at different angles. So these X-wings coming up hard here, turning in because they're a little bit faster. B-wings coming in this way. So that way you have arcs pointing into the center this way, arcs pointing into the center this way. So we have some overlapping kill boxes and a better engagement for a list that still wants to keep all of its guns on target.
Yeah, and the thing you've got to watch out for, though, is these 3 gas clouds here.
Right.
So if Dallas decides to use those to his advantage and dance around them, that's not only adding the extra dice, it's obviously adding the gas cloud effect, which will allow him to weather multiple shots from different ships.
Right.
So we see there that Jendon's ability has been popped, and it looks like he's taking a target lock on this front X-wing here.
Yep. From Inquisitor.
Yep.
Non-colored.
Yep. And I would be shocked if we didn't see it from red as well.
Yep. In fact, here he comes. There's a lot going out on that lead X-wing. Now, as Frank, this is always kind of an interesting problem. As the opponent, when you see some of those early locks go down, how do you fly differently with that ship?
With the ship that's been locked?
Correct.
The danger is that you might then decide to keep it out of the fight.
Right.
What you could quite easily see is some kind of leapfrogging. So if you would say slow roll with this X-wing and just do, say, like a 1 bank, and then kind of move a lot quicker with the B-wings and this X-wing here, and then just effectively over the next couple of turns get this X-wing to be behind and then the other one's in front. And then effectively you can't get all the shots on that one X-wing. But if you see, actually, Dallas
has a
another lock here.
That looks like Redline's second lock right
so
there.
So Redline's taken one there and one there.
Yep. Gosh, Redline's so good. Gosh, Redline is so good. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, once again for tuning in. This is round 3 of the Last Chance qualifier, just under an hour left. I'm Asa, and this is Darren Granger. I almost said Dallas Parker. Sorry about that, man. You are the same. If you want to see all those big old large tokens down there, those force tokens in particular that we see over there from Dallas Parker.
I can indeed. Where could I get some of those?
Well, if you take a look down at the bottom right of your screen, we've got a little thing right down there. We are sponsored, actually, by Curled Paw Creatives. Their Etsy shop gives you everything. Like, all of these tokens, I've got Curled Paw tokens at home. Every single stream that I've ever done on Gold Squadron, we've used Curled Paw Creative tokens. And you can get 15% off of those by using coupon code WORLDS2019.
Incredible.
15% off. Free shipping on all USA orders. Right, Dion? Oh, he's not listening to me. Over $35. Thank you. Plus that 15% off. That's excellent. Again, the code there is WORLDS2019 to get that 15% off. Dials going down here in the second round. Jendon, it's worth noting, stopped right up there in the top right corner.
Yep, Jendon can kind of slow roll in. I think the key here, because the Rebel Beef player, Frank's got so many ships, I think the getting the shuttle involved is going to be key.
Yep.
Because ultimately, it's another gun, it's another 3-dice attack.
Exactly.
4-dice attack at range 1.
But I think Dallas is doing the right thing keeping it back for now, because the shuttle does really well when it's got a lot of ships in front of it and nothing to its side.
Yep.
And so if he can get those rebels tangled up in a scrum in the middle and then bring the shuttle in from the back, I don't know, maybe something, pointing right down this lane.
Yep.
So they can all go, it can keep inching forward, stopping, putting that fire in. That's excellent.
Yep. No, it's certainly going to be an interesting matchup.
Absolutely. And then we see the X-Wing moving forward, boosting in with those closed S-foils one more time. B-Wing, purple B-Wing, just with a 1 straight. There are those 1 straights.
So, slight change of tactics.
Indeed.
What do you think that is?
I'm not 100% sure. I definitely would think that B-Wing wants to move a little bit faster to get around that debris cloud. An interesting choice from Frank. Perhaps he's trying to think of bringing these E-Wings or these B-Wings up kind of through this lane instead of around towards the center. But it is definitely an interesting choice. The X-Wings up ahead are definitely leading the charge, moving just a heck of a lot faster. Now, do we know where that Y-Wings arc is pointed? Probably.
So it looks like it's pointed forwards.
Yes.
So we've had 2 games go to time today, Asa. Do you think this is going to be a third?
I think this is going to be a third.
Okay.
Rebel Beef lists, even when faced with that kind of firepower, they tend to go to time.
Are you saying that they can repel firepower of that magnitude?
I got to give a huge shout out here to Keelania for donating 15 Tier 1 subs. Thank you so much for your guys' support. Again, want to remind you guys to hit that Twitch Prime button. It just makes a huge difference. Get your Twitch subs. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Let's get some gumboats in the chat for everybody who's ever given some gift subs. Thank you guys so much. Back to the game.
Based on their construction. It's all going to come down to flying, which is what I like about X-Wing. Here's an Inquisitor shooting 5 straight forward. We have a question in chat. Chris M. Bandit Squad asks, who's on commentary with Asa? My good friend, why don't you introduce yourself?
I am Darren Granger.
That British man.
Yes.
You know him well.
Delightful Brit that I met Asa and Dion in Denver.
Exactly.
So, as we've seen here, this Inquisitor here is moving quickly down this way. We saw a...
Table 1.
Yes?
It is important to note that you are one of my favorite British people.
Thank you very much.
One of his favorite British people.
Name 3 others. Name 3 others. Thanks, Dion.
Thank you, Dion. You were saying before you were interrupted and
rudely interrupted by the by the voice of God.
By one of your favorite X-Wing podcasters.
Indeed. As we saw here, we've got the this Inquisitor moving rapidly down this way. And then we've got this one, did a hard one, did the barrel roll. And this means that he's effectively going to potentially be able to attack from different angles, because if these ships come down this channel here, he's got one that can come this way, one that can come this way, and then red line can still come this way.
Right.
And then I think you're absolutely right, ram the shuttle down their throat. Because ultimately, Jendon isn't carrying Palpatine. He's not adding much other than the force multiplier of them going in with the target locks. So they can go in with target lock focus. So actually, just ramming the shuttle down their throat. He doesn't lose anything after they've engaged.
Exactly. It looks like Dallas might be setting up to ram Redline down their throat, too.
It'll be an interesting one if he does.
Right.
I'm not sure he would want to trade Redline for in such a way.
Right. Maybe if he trades Redline for 2 of those.
Yeah.
But he's definitely got to engage intelligently. So far, I definitely think he is. Bringing Redline down this right-hand side, I think that's a more aggressive move. The Rebels are closer to that right-hand side, so it would have been tougher for him to delay the engagement. I think that might be what he's going for at the moment. Because everybody right now is poised to flee, to keep delaying the engagement until Dallas sees fit to turn in. I think right now, especially with Frank's positioning down there on the bottom, I think Dallas is really in control of this engagement right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what we're seeing here is there's a beautiful positioning going on from Dallas, because if you notice, these 3 ships here haven't really left his engagement, his deployment area.
Yep.
This one is taking a flanking position, which, because of this debris here and this here, these ships are going to really struggle to get in on. And so if they were to turn in this way, then they're opening their flanks here for these ships to come in. So effectively, he's dividing the rebel player, that they're going to have to commit either here, or here.
And it's a real strength of Dallas's list that it takes weight of fire from the Rebels to bring even one of those ships down.
Yeah.
Frank can't send a contingent of his list against a flanker. He's got to commit.
Yeah.
And that's the tough thing. I think it would be the incorrect choice to commit to the flanker.
Yeah.
I think it got to go as much as it's going to hurt. going for the big guns, for Redline, for the shuttle.
Yeah.
I think that is very important.
All right, guys, so we have Table 1 in progress. We're going to go ahead and take a peek at Table 2 while they're in planning. Let's go do that.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight here. Just going to move our pink token out of the way.
A beautiful pink token, by the way.
That's right. You know what that pink token was made by?
Crawlpaw Creatives.
That's right, Crawlpaw Creatives.
They're our sponsor for Worlds. We've got a great setup here, and it's thanks in part to them. They've got a great promo code for us, Worlds 2019. 15% off your order, unlimited. Unlimited discount on the 15%.
off?
Dion's telling us to bring the mic back up to our face. Yeah.
It keeps like drooping down. So I don't know if he just
didn't look like it was an
it
arc
might have been
just from the angle.
out. Yeah, so we'll probably hang back to.
Seems like the answer is not very.
Yeah.
Right. There's a one bank to the left with a focus.
Yep. What we've got here, a hard 3, hard 2. Nope, just a 2 bank.
It's a 2 bank, keeping them together.
Yep.
Regardless of whether, regardless of how fast Frank is going, he's doing a very good job of keeping his ships together right now.
Now, there isn't any synergy with these ships like we see sometimes with Rebel Beef squads where they want to be at range 1 of each other to support each other. There's no Selfless, there's no Cassian Andor. What you've got here is just raw efficiency.
Right. And efficiency wants to stay together to put that efficiency onto the same target.
Yeah, absolutely.
Focus with that B-Wing. We have another 2 bank, it looks like, to pilot left.
Yep.
With B-Wing white.
Oh, slight bump there.
That is definitely something that can ruin the formation of some of these Rebel squads. But that is clear, and we've got a focus coming in. That is the rear B-Wing that we've got
he's going to barrel roll.
And there it is.
Yep, barrel rolling.
And there are those B-Wings poised to be the anvil against which Dallas smashes his list. Like, they're slow moving, they're in the back, but that's kind of where they want to be.
So are we going to see a rotate here?
There it is. Rotate up towards the top of the board.
Yep. And what that does is that keeps this Inquisitor honest.
Yep. If one ion on that Inquisitor, and it is game over.
Yes. Yeah.
If those Inquisitors, they can't focus.
Yep.
Or excuse me.